Personality show on Atlantic Television Network. Joining me on today's edition of the show is Jerry Daniels. Good morning to you, Jerry, and welcome to another exciting edition of Sports Personality Show.
Yeah, good morning, Kingsley. Good morning to our amiable listeners out there. It's a very, very scintillating show we're going to bring to you today about legendary Taiwo Awoniyi.
Interesting one. And talking about Taiwo Awoniyi, let's take a look at his early life, and was such an impressive one, of course, for the man, while growing. Taiwo Michael Awoniyi was born to Mary Motu Rayo and Elder Solomon Adewoye. Awoniyi in Lorraine. Actually, it was in Lorraine, Kwara State. His father, Elder Solomon, was a policeman who was only able to provide just enough to help his family survive. Taiwo found joy in playing football, and soon he got into the Kwara Football Academy. There, he met Yusuf Mario, who was on tour in Africa. It was during this visit and the exhibition tournament which he participated in that led him, of course, to be discovered by the much bigger Imperial Soccer Academy, which gave him the necessary push to take his career in the direction it is currently going in at the moment. What do you make of, the early beginning? We understand that that his parents were that very much, rich. His dad, was a policeman, and then, of course, his mother as well gave him that support. And whenever a child is actually being discovered at an early age, especially when the child is trying to pursue a career, and moving on, we heard he was playing for a particular academy that's in Kwara State. It means the parents actually gave him that, edge, to pursue his career.
Yes, one funny thing about it is that Taiwo Awoniyi came up from a humble background, as you have rightly said. His father was a policeman who was just able to provide for the family to survive. But one interesting thing about it is that the parents of Taiwo Michael Awoniyi actually supported his dream, actually supported Taiwo in playing football. Because we saw how he went for a tournament, amateur tournament, until when he was discovered by Jose Mourinho. So on tour in Africa. So the crux of the matter is his parents, despite the fact that they did not really have much, but they supported their young lad, they supported him to the fullest, enrolling him in different. I know that that's not the only tournament or competition he has played during his amateur days, but he has been able to at least engage in so many of them with the help and support of his parents until this fateful day in which he was discovered. So that's a very good one for the young lad.
Good one for Taiwo when he gets in the support of his parents in terms of him pursuing his football career. I think that is a very, very lovely gesture from the parents of Taiwo Awoniyi, despite the fact that, the dad was a policeman. He still actually have that interest in seeing, his son, pursuing something aside from education.
It's most times...
Because at that moment, you really expect the father to you'll go to school and now I'm a policeman. I want you to be educated, to be responsible in the society. But even at that, there was still that liberty for Taiwo Awoniyi to do what he loves.
Yes, kudos to his dad. Kudos to his dad very much, because despite the background he came from, he did not really limit Taiwo to just go to school. Though we should not relinquish the fact that education is important in the life of an individual, but he was able to discover the talent on time in Taiwo and enroll him in several amateur competitions in which this young lad can express himself favorably to the admiration of the world. And look at where he is today. So with all this development, we were able to understand that the father and the mother helped him a lot through these processes, groomed him, and as well encouraged him to as well take a part in this profession.
Interesting one, and we look forward to see more as well from Taiwo when he's doing a whole lot already, and I think the support from his parents have actually taken him far in life at this point. But let's take a look at his early club career. In 2010, Awoniyi was voted the most valuable player at a football competition in London. His performance at the competition was spotted by Seyi Olofinjana, who invited him to join the Imperial Soccer Academy. Now, in Awoniyi training with, after then, he went down to Liverpool and was training with Moskrum. That was in 2018. And August 31st, 2015, when he signed for English club Liverpool for a fee of around £400,000, but was immediately loaned to German team FSV Frankfurt, and from there he went down he went on loan to Frankfurt, and then the neck as well. He made his debut for Frankfurt as a later substitute in a German Cup match against Sector Berlin. After being named as a substitute for 6 league matches, he made his debut on 9th of February 2016, playing 89 minutes against FC St. Pauli. Awoniyi so far the relegation with Frankfurt, and he returned to Liverpool at the end of the season. Let's get down there. Went to Liverpool, he didn't spend much time in what actually sent on loan. Of course, he's definitely causing some slack because that was the process when he was actually developing, his career and his football skills as well.
Yes, right from 2010, in which he went on that competition, and fast forward up until 31st August 2015, when Liverpool signed him. I think he has, if I'm not mistaken, 7 to 8 loan sprees in Frankfurt, in Marcos, in Hertha Berlin, if I'm not mistaken, all those clubs, and up until this time. So all those are developmental periods. But he had to, there was a slack because there were so many clubs he went on loan spells, and that did not really give him a frolic on his own to perform. If Liverpool had given him an opportunity to as well perform, give him some space, some playing time to perform in their first team, we could have seen a better, much more better Taiwo Awoniyi right now. But at all those times, 7 times he went on loan, that did not really...
I think Liverpool didn't actually see him to be better or good at that time, the team.
Yes,
and that's why they actually loaned him now. Just like what we saw Barcelona doing with Ansu Fati.
Yes, he wasn't really that good. When we look at the cases of Ansu Fati, we understand that Ansu Fati has not been able to break into the first team. Like fully. He's been intermittent in the first team. Same thing with Taiwo Awoniyi. Okay, let's just say throughout that period, 15 to, let's say, 21. That's the 6 years he has been with Liverpool. Let's just say, did they really have any prolific striker during that period? No, not exactly. If they had given Taiwo Awoniyi this opportunity to as well perform, giving him some playing time, unlike when they had Luis Suarez, who would say no, he wouldn't be able to compete favorably with Suarez, Sterling, or Sturridge, as the case may be. But at this point in time, these players were not in these clubs anymore. So they could have given him that time to as well perform. Those loan sprees really retarded his professional career to some extent.
Interesting. And on the 26th of August 2016, Dutch team NEC confirmed that Awoniyi had joined them on a season-long loan and was expected to join the squad the following week after the formalities of his work permit were completed. On the 10th of September, he made his Eredivisie debut in a 4-goal defeat of NEC to PSV. Endeavour being replaced in the 72nd minute by Michael Onlet with NEC. The Nigerian suffered his second consecutive relegation, relegated from Eredivisie in 2017. That is the second relegation he suffered. Don't forget, the first was against Frankfurt, and now against the Eredivisie side as well. That means he wasn't that very fortunate, while trying to, get his stamina in his career.
Yes, he wasn't really that fortunate to get his career on the go and fast on track, because consecutively he suffered relegation uh, defeats in which teams he played for were actually relegated from the first tier football. And we as well understand that these teams were not big teams in that fashion, because he needed to be loaned to a team that he could be able to be in the starting lineup week in, week out. So, and consecutively they suffered relegation, and that's just one funny thing with it. That's why I said his career suffered a little setback because of all these loan space. He's not been able to establish himself in a very big team in which he can showcase his talent. That's why on the other side, they sent him to those teams so that he can be able to establish himself on that pedestal, which he has been able to do so. But unfortunately enough, they suffered relegation. So you can't blame just one man for the defeats.
All right, so in July 2017, when he left NEC and joined Belgian club Royal Ansel Moskroen on a season-long loan, and made his debut on 12th of August when he started the match against KSC Lokeren, scoring within 22 minutes. On 7th of July 2018, when he signed a new long-term deal with Liverpool. On 23rd of July, sealed a season-long loan to another Belgian club, Genk. On 11th of January 2019, it was announced that his loan to Genk was cut short, and when he was loaned to Moskroen again. What's the situation? Liverpool, they didn't just want to let him go. When his contract expired, they signed another contract again and still sent him on loan again. What was the bond? Why was the bond, between him and Liverpool?
Well, between the Nigerian International and Liverpool Football Club, I think Liverpool actually saw potentials in Taiwo Awoniyi, but did not give him that space, or not give him that platform to perform. If you look at all these years, you will understand that Liverpool had great players, and it was somewhat impossible for him to break into the first team, but they should have given him the opportunity to as well showcase himself. Because one thing about football is, if an opportunity is being given to you, I think you have the power to wield influence and to prove yourself. We saw the likes of Lionel Messi, of how he was introduced into the game where Ronaldinho was substituted, or when Ronaldinho was injured rather, and Messi proved himself up until today, since 2004. So if Liverpool Football Club might have given Awoniyi a chance, let's say, play this guy in 10 straight games and see his result. We're not saying you shouldn't field other players, but I think alternation is better. You should as well give him some space in order to perform and prove himself on a high pedestal. Then we would say, Taiwo Awoniyi has been able to prove himself and he needs to stay in Anfield. Or he has not been able to prove himself, let him go on another loan spell. But Liverpool football team, they saw potentials in it, because if you don't see potentials, then why did you
give him a contract?
Give him a contract at the same
loan.
His contract expired in 2018, and he signed another one up until 2021 when it expired and he left. So why did you have to renew his contract if you did not see prospects with him?
Interesting one, but I think all these are only paved way for the man to get himself right.
Yes.
Going forward, in his football career. On the 6th of August 2019, Liverpool confirmed Awoniyi had joined Bundesliga side Mainz 05 on a season-long loan. He was hospitalized in June 2020 after sustaining a severe concussion during a 1-goal loss to FC Augsburg in the league. On the 19th of September 2020, Awoniyi left for his 7th loan spell, this time joining Bundesliga side Union Berlin for a year. 7th loan spell.
Yes.
But that is not a very good state, to be as a player.
Thank God he still has age on his side.
Yeah. That's a very, terrible one, because even you as a player, one thing about the loan thing is that you won't earn as much as you want.
Yes, salary will be slashed.
Salary will not be that very huge. And as well, you won't get that much value. Yeah. And if you don't step up your performance, team might not possibly come for you with huge amounts of money.
Yeah.
And that's just the disadvantage
First of all, he was even signed by Liverpool for £400,000.
Yeah, £400,000.
Just £400,000. And if you look at it, up until this point in time, if not that he has made advances in his current team, his buyer clause did not really improve. It did not really improve because of several loan sprees across different nations, across different leagues, across different clubs. So if one thing is that if you're able to go on a loan spree, on a season-long loan, and you improve your game, and you come back to your parent club, I think that your buyout clause will increase because you've been able to perform favorably well.
You know, loan deals are always are made for players to go maybe elsewhere and try to rejuvenate themselves, get back their
get back into the starting lineup, because they were not able to do that in the previous team.
And most of the time, players are majorly sent to lower teams, yes, you know, to go put themselves in order and then come back, you know, strongly. But that was it. Taiwo Awoniyi actually, he was on loan for about seven teams, and that was a very, very long one for him. But I think it was a trial period for Awoniyi. It was really a trial period for him, and he passed through the trials.
Yes, it's a very thick period for Taiwo.
And he came out successfully, you know, in that particular one. But on the 20th of July 2021, Awoniyi rejoined Union Berlin, this time on a permanent basis. The German club reportedly paid £6.5 million for the forward. That's to say, his value.
It's improved.
Yeah, his value actually, you know, came up in that particular. But that's the basic. That's the basic. I think that's how players are actually being, especially African players. That's how African players normally navigate their way probably to dominance, you know, in these European clubs that we've seen. I think for me, for what Taiwo Awoniyi has actually gone through, all the loan spare, has actually given him what, you know, he is today. The stamina, the style of play, the attacking brilliance, you know, and all of that we've seen from him today is actually as a result of what
as a result of all this developmental period he has gone through.
But do you think this, you know, is actually normal? Don't you think a team should possibly, of course, keep a player like him and then see how they could nurture him, not probably sending him on loan, or probably you buy into this idea?
Yes, on one side, where what the result Awoniyi is giving us now is nothing short of close to being the best, because it will be tied down to all those periods he has been on loan to several clubs. You say he has been able to get matured over time. So I think that if you actually go through a process and the result is somewhat palatable, you tie it down to the process. Oh, I've put in much in this project. A lot of my resources have gone into this project. And at the end of it, you're coming up with a very good result. Same thing as Awoniyi. So Liverpool actually wanted good for him, sending him on several loan sprees for him to be able to get matured over time. The agility is there, the stamina is there, the skill is there, the tenacity is there. So he's been able to ride on through these clubs, make sure that he carves a niche for himself. He has to be in the starting lineup, get the necessary experience he needs to get. He's just 24 years old, so 25, if I'm not mistaken. So for Taiwo Awoniyi, all these periods are developmental periods, and I've made Awoniyi who he is today. So the results are clear. It's palpable.
All right, we still have a whole lot to talk about. You know, Taiwo Awoniyi, especially, you know, his time, you know, at Nottingham Forest. It's been an impressive ride, of course, for him at Nottingham Forest after leaving Union Berlin down there in Germany. But we'll definitely talk much about that when we'll come back from this short break. Please stay with us. back as the sports personality show on Atlantic Television Network. And of course, we'll bring you the latest as it concerns the man at Taiwo Awoniyi. Of course, he's a Nigerian professional footballer. But let's take a look at his time at Nottingham Forest. So we'll actually take a very in-depth look and when he started his career and of course the loan spells. A whole lot of loan spells for the man Taiwo Awoniyi. But on the 25th of June 2022, Awoniyi completed a move to newly promoted Premier League side Nottingham Forest on a 5-year deal. The transfer fee paid was a club record for Forest, reportedly £17 million. So I think the last money, I think when he was bought by Union Berlin was about 6 point something million pounds.
Yeah.
And club record fee, Nottingham Forest, £17 million.
£17 million. The club record.
That shows progression.
That shows progress. That shows progress. That shows increase and access also, because he has been able to bust into limelight. He has been able to stabilize his stay in the top flight football and also stabilize his stay in first teams. So the buyout clause will certainly increase. We saw how Liverpool purchased it for £400,000, and we saw how it rose by Union Berlin to 6.5, and Nottingham Forest having a record fee of £17 million. So it's really a growth when it comes to his buyout clause. Awoniyi has been a fantastic player. I followed him right from his Liverpool days, even if Liverpool did not really give him that much time, but his loan sprays in different clubs shows that he's really a prolific striker in front of goal.
And on the 22nd of October 2022, he scored the winning goal in a 1-0 home win against former club Liverpool. Towards the end of the season, he scored 6 goals in 4 games, including the winner in a 1-0 home victory over Arsenal on 20th of May 2023 that preserved the club Premier League status. On the 18th of August, Awoniyi became the first Forest player to score in 6 consecutive Premier League matches since Stanley Coleman in March 1995. The man has started, of course, putting up the record.
Yes, the last time a Forest player scored in 6 consecutive matches was in March, April 1995 by Stan Coleman. And Taiwo Awoniyi has been able to score, break the record to score in 6 consecutive games too. We could remember his goal against Liverpool in October 2022, and we could remember his goal in May 2023 against Arsenal. That game was the decider between the 2 teams. It was the decider between Arsenal winning the league, and it was the decider between Nottingham Forest from being relegated. So that goal he scored actually prevented Arsenal from winning the league, thereby giving Man City the league without even playing a game. And also had to keep Forest in the top flight. So we've seen how this guy has been prolific in front of goal. 6 goals in 4 games. That is a prolific striker. That's a striker that at least something to chew on. If any time a defender hears of this striker, he knows that at least there's something to chew on. So Taiwo Awoniyi, I think with all this loan sprays, all this developmental period, it has metamorphosed into this Michael Awoniyi we wish to see. We wish to see. So for me, I think he's a very good striker, and the sky is just his limit. We don't only see him performing in Nottingham Forest, even in subsequent teams, because we understand the fact that if he continues in this light, and even more progressively, we could see big teams come for him. It is no doubt that we could see the likes of Chelsea also come for him. United, Arsenal, and the rest of them. So he should continue in this light.
But what kind of striker will you describe him to be? What kind of a striker? We have so many strikers, in football today. Erling Haaland, Harry Kane, and the rest of them. What kind of striker do you see Taiwo Awoniyi to be?
I'll compare him to Harry Kane. You get, because one very good thing about Harry is that Harry is this type of striker that comes into the field of deep into play, looks for the ball, try to distribute it, position, and he gets the goal. Unlike Erling Haaland, who just stands in front of goal, waiting for the right accurate pass from either De Bruyne, Kovacic, Phil, Jack or Ben. So when you look at Taiwo Awoniyi, we can likely compare him to Harry Kane. If you watch Harry Kane in Spurs, you will understand that Harry Kane is this type of player who will sit back into the midfield, try to get the ball between Eriksen and the rest of them. When Eriksen was in Spurs, try to get the ball, move into positions, give the ball to Son, give the ball to Richarlison, moves into position, and they feed him the pass, and he scores the goal. Same thing with the likes of Awoniyi. If you look at his pair with Gibbs White, you understand that there is a frolic of play between these two. You look at Serge Aurier cutting from the right. There's a harmony. There's a free flow of play between these players. So Awoniyi sits back into the style of play, into the things of play, tries to get the ball, moves into position, and he makes sure that he converts any opportunity that comes his way. That's what qualifies you to be an all-round striker. We look at the likes of Thierry Henry. Though not really an outright striker, a winger, but he comes into the play of things, tries to give the accurate pass, positions, and he gets the goal.
Yeah.
So even the likes of Rashford too. So when we look at all these players, we could say Taiwo Awoniyi is comparable to any of them.
Interesting one. Let's take a look at his international career as when he represented Nigeria at the 2013 FIFA Under-17 World Cup, and went on to win the tournament, scoring 4 goals during the competition. He also represented Nigeria at the 2015 FIFA Under-20 World Cup in New Zealand after winning the 2015 African Under-20 Championship in Senegal. On the 12th of April 2015, he scored a brace on his debut for the Nigerian Under-23 team in the match against Zambia as his team went on to qualify for the 2015 North African Games. He was selected by Nigeria for their 35-man provisional squad for the 2016 Summer Olympic. He was selected by Ghana in late 2021 to represent Nigeria at the 2022 FIFA World Cup, of course, FIFA World Cup qualifiers. We saw an impressive time, with the national team.
Yes, very, very impressive time with the national team. Up from 2013, the FIFA Under-17 World Cup, where he performed remarkably well with the likes of Kelechi Iheanacho and the Mohamed, the rest of them. One thing about him is that he's been able to cement his place in the Under-17, Under-23, up onto the national team. So he has gone through these cadres. Remember his brace for the Under-23. Remember how he performed remarkably well in the Under-17 World Cup. So this guy has gone through these ranks. He's developed all through this time. He's been able to cement his place right now in the national team. And we are yet to see the best of Taiwo Awoniyi in the national team, including his compatriot, talking about Kelechi Iheanacho. So with the likes of other players surrounding Awoniyi, the best is yet to come from this young lad who plays for a team in England.
Best is yet to come for Taiwo Awoniyi in the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Now, Awoniyi was selected to represent Nigeria at the AFCON 2021, where he led the line for Nigeria throughout the tournament. His only goal during the tournament came in the 3-1 group stage win against Sudan in that one. Just like you mentioned, the likes of Kelechi Iheanacho, Victor Osimhen, they've been very, very fantastic as well for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. But do you see Awoniyi, of course, being, a standard player, just like we've seen the likes of Victor Osimhen in the Super Eagles anytime soon?
The time is now. Yes, the time is now. Imminently, we have the African Cup of Nations coming up in January 2024. And for me, Taiwo Awoniyi has cemented his place, despite Kelechi Iheanacho and Victor Osimhen being in the squad. But he has also been able to cement his place in the squad too. And until then, we don't know who the gaffer of the Super Eagles may be if Jose Peseiro will also continue. But Jose Peseiro has seemed to like Taiwo Awoniyi, bring him into several competitions for him to perform. So giving him that opportunity to perform at this point in time So when we look at it, we're going to say, when this guy is given much more playing time, he will certainly come up with a result in which we want to see from him. We can, at the long run, we can also compare him with the likes of Victor Osimhen. Yes, favorably, we can also compare with the likes of Victor Osimhen and also Kelechi Iheanacho. So even now, he's even more better than Kelechi Iheanacho. Let me put it that way. So when this young lad is given time to showcase his talent, one thing about playing, about football is when you're being given time to prove yourself and you're not able to do it, perhaps subsequently the time may as well come again, perhaps in a different club, and you're not able to do it. It really shows that you're not improving in your game. There are so many players that have not improved in their game, and there are also a lot more who have improved in their game over time because they have been given this leverage, they have been given this pedestal to perform. So one thing about it is that I want you should be given more time to perform so that you will also see the best in him.
Interesting. Let's see how it goes, of course, for the man, Taiwo Awoniyi, the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And we hope, of course, he'll be given the opportunity because play time is what is needed at this moment for him as a stand. But let's take a look at his style of play. Parallels have been drawn between Awoniyi's style of play and that of Rashidi Yekini, a Nigeria all-time highest goal scorer. Is there any similarity, Jerry?
Yes, between Nigeria's all-time goal scorer, talking about the late Rashidi Yekini, who was the first to score Nigeria's goal in the World Cup in '94 against Bulgaria. Well, Taiwo Awoniyi can be comparable to the likes of Rashidi Yekini, or Bafemi Martins, Yakubu Ayegbeni, and Ike Kalu Ike Uche, and the rest of them. Taiwo Awoniyi is a prolific striker. Well, the style of play from I did not really watch Rashidi Yekini, but some highlights and videos I've seen about Rashidi Yekini is comparable to Taiwo Awoniyi, highly comparable to Taiwo Awoniyi. So the style of play is similar. It's very much similar because they drop into the scheme of things and they try to get the ball, move into position, receive the ball, and they put the ball at the back of the net. So it's very much comparable. And to the likes of also Finidi Joy, though Finidi Joy was not a top nine, was a winger, but at least those styles of play, I think, comparable to Taiwo Awoniyi.
Interesting. Let's say it is. We hope, of course, he replicates that form of Yashidi Rekini, because the man as well was very instrumental. I think those are the people we should be looking forward to. Or Taiwo Awoniyi and the likes of Victor Osimhen, of course, should be looking forward to, surpass their record and what they did during that time. But let's take a look at his personal life, as Taiwo Awoniyi is a twin. Yeah, that's it. The man is a twin. He's a twin sister. Kayinde Awoniyi is his best friend. Now, outside his parents, his elder brother, Victory Awoniyi, is his father figure. Now, Taiwo Awoniyi got married in 2018 to his childhood sweetheart, Taye Sodun, who is also a twin as well. So what is it about twin? What's the twin thing about Taiwo Awoniyi?
The imbroglio about the twin thing is unexplainable. He's a twin and getting married to a twin. You know, life has a way of twisting and turning. Well, Taiwo Awoniyi actually got married in 2018 and he's given birth to a son named Emmanuel. And we understand that those period was still the period.
So son was given birth to in 2020?
Yes, 2020, yes. I think before his contract expiration in Liverpool, that's when he gave birth to his son. And he has been a very, very fantastic father. He has been a very, very fantastic father and a very good father figure, for a very good husband to his dear wife. At least we have been able to see some glimpse of his private life. We've seen that he has a child and he has a very happy home. They go on tours, they enjoy themselves, and he likes spending time with family too, which because his family was instrumental to his development and up until this time. So the family who has been instrumental, you really choose to spend time with them and give them your best.
Definitely.
When the time appears. So he's a very good husband, a very happy father, and I wish him well in the coming future.
Interesting. And they are devout Christian family who enjoys spending time together, traveling, just like Jerry said, traveling the world and enjoying side as well. Let's take a look at, his salary. The man, of course, was in progression,
Yeah.
when it comes to his earning, especially his value. I think about 6 point something pounds at Union Berlin, and I think
6.5 pounds by Union
yes,
Berlin and 17.
Nottingham Forest were able to get him for 17 million pounds.
Yes.
That's also an increment in his wages as well. But the Nigerian national football team player, talking about Awoni, Awoni, they're taking, is actually taking the world now by storm, as such as earnings, as his earnings has actually increased, as a stand. And from what we've seen so far, the man is actually putting up a very, very great wonder for himself. And from the look of things, the man salary and contracts he has signed so far has been very, very lucrative. And we hear he signed a 5-year contract with Nottingham Forest on the 1st of July 2022. He cost the club 17.5 million in transfer fees, making him their most expensive signing in history. They place him on 50,000 pounds per week, which sum up to 2.6 million pounds, for the man, and such an impressive earning, Jerry.
Yes, 50,000 pounds. At least we hope that it increases because it's small. I mean, it's small. We hope that it increases to at least Sita Wawoni earning 150, 180, 200. That's not bad at all. But his weekly wages has certainly skyrocketed out of all those times he has been on loan. And we see his wages 50,000 pounds a week, and also 2.6 million cumulatively in a year. So that's a very good one for the Nigerian international, who has been able to do more with his loan spells and also developmental period like this, up until this time in which he has developed to the Tyra Aboni in which we want to see.
So 2.6 million at the end of his 5 years as Nottingham Forest. That will end, of course, in 2027. And he will have earned 13 million pounds. And if I think he would have earned actually 13 million pounds or thereabout. But from what we've seen, that is what, of course, the man will be getting as it stands. Now, Nottingham Forest is his biggest jump in earnings. And after one season with the Tricky Trees, his net worth has jumped to 12.6 million. That's $16 million dollars, to say. Not too big, still growing.
It's still growing.
But I think the man is adding value to himself. In a short while now, definitely his money will definitely skyrocket.
Yes, 12.6 million pounds is small money, but it is just a replica or a resemblance of growth. $16 million is not, is something small to him, but he wants to have more. He wants to have more. When we look at his wage of 50,000 pounds, it doesn't really spell good for him. That's not what he wants to see at this point in time. But you need to count one before you get to 5. So in a space of time, someone whose release clause was $6.5 million, and between the next transfer window is a record signing for another club, 17 million pounds. So look at it. It really shows growth. It really shows acceleration, access. So Taiwo Awoniyi has been able to grow through the ranks up until this time, that the release clause is high. If another club wants to buy Taiwo Awoniyi now, the release clause will not be 17 million pounds. I hope you know that. I think it will be more than 25.
Yeah.
If we're looking at a staggering 30 to 40 because of his impact in the team. So when you look at all this, as growth not really rubbed off on Taiwo Awoniyi, okay, if they place his release clause in 40 million pounds, and he goes to a team like Chelsea, Man United, Arsenal, they won't pay 50,000 pounds. We're looking at 80, 150. Cumulatively to grow in a year. So when we look at it, he needs to be grateful to Almighty God. Yes, he needs to be grateful. There are so many players who started with him are not even across the shores of Nigeria right now. Yes, so many players who started with Taiwo Awoniyi, Kelechi Iheanacho are not even across the shores of Nigeria. They're still in Nigeria, perhaps battling in one MPFL team. or at least the NPFL is even coming up. So, but it can't be comparable to the one outside. So when you look at it, it really shows growth and progress on the part of Taiwan Woni. So let's give him kudos.
So how do you see, Taiwo Woni, in the future? Do you think, the man is going to get better than this? Do you see him in big teams like probably Manchester United, City, or maybe any of the team in the Spanish La Liga or the Italian Serie A?
Bet you, there are so many teams who are spying and keeping an eye on Awoni. So many teams are keeping an eye on Awoni. Don't be surprised, Juventus may place a bid for him. AC Milan can place a bid, Inter Milan can place a bid. Paris Saint-Germain can also do so. Okay, if he doesn't want to go outside England, City can come. Fulham can come. Yes, it's also a big team. Arsenal can also place a bid for him. And the acquiring services, I told you earlier that buying Taiwo Awoniyi now, you can't buy him for £17 million anymore. You can't pay him £50,000 anymore. It's certainly going to be an increase. Even if he goes to another smaller team. Except if his release clause will drop. But with the rate at which Taiwo Awoniyi is performing right now, I think before the end of the 2023-2024 season, Taiwo Awoniyi should have been able to put in double-digit goals. From 15 goals at least. So, with the rate at which this Nigerian striker is performing now, it's really... Don't forget that we have another Nigerian in Nottingham Forest in the person of Emmanuel Dennis. But he's not even able to compete favorably with his Nigerian counterpart. So how then do we grade it? Dennis' release clause, I think, will be far more lower than that of Awoniyi. So when we look at it, we understand that there is much prospect, a much more brighter future for the man from the west of Western Nigeria, playing his trade in Nottingham Forest in Bradford, England. So for me, I really think that before the end, if not in the next transfer windows, a club can also come for him. And remember, he has 5 years running contract, which will expire in 2027. So they would like to increase his money. I bet you a club can come, bid for him, and they come to terms. And he goes there to perform. So kudos to Taiwo when he has been able to grow through the run. The developmental period has been very much important to this striker. So we are seeing the results now. So imagine if he was kept in Liverpool and he's still in Liverpool up until all those periods. You could just loan him to one other smaller team. And he wouldn't even be in the limelight right now. So to an extent, Liverpool meant very well for him. And he has performed creditably well in every aspect up until this time. So kudos to him.
Interesting one. The man has been scoring. Yeah. The man has been scoring goals since the season started.
Yeah. He's the highest goal scorer right now.
Yeah.
3 goals.
How far do you see him go this season in terms of scoring?
In terms of scoring, I said it earlier that for Taiwo Awoniyi, okay, let's put it across all competitions. They are participating also the FA Cup and the Carling Cup and the Carabao Cup. He should be able to have 15 goals. 15 to 20 goals in all competitions.
Okay.
That's not bad. He's in the starting lineup every week in, week out. He's always in the starting lineup. So if Taiwo Awoniyi has 20 goals across all competitions, that's not a bad season for this man. It's not a bad season for him.
All right. It's been an impressive one, of course, unraveling everything about Taiwo Awoniyi. And I think you've actually learned one or two about the man. And it's really been impressive. We pray that, of course, he continue with this impressive form going forward in his career. The man has been very fantastic. And a huge thanks to Jerry, of course, for unraveling more about Taiwo Awoniyi on the show this morning.
Thank you very much. We just hope that injury does not cut him short. But if he continues in this light, the sky is his limit.
All right, don't forget, we'll be back next week, Saturday, by 10 a.m. on the ATN Sports Personality Show. Peace and Unity, I was a part of ways to progress 6 p.m. The sports crew, of course, will be here to bring you sport extraordinary. My name is Kingsley